It will be enormous. It will be a legacy and not a grave, that when the sting of death finally comes, it can be lessened. It will never be lessened. I never start a collection with an idea of what a book is going to be. I start with a poem, and then I write other poems, and eventually I start discovering what those obsessions are. And what I learned was that the family story and the national story were paralleling each other at some point, because the question I started coming up with more and more was, like, what is it that we inherit? Like, what are those values? No wonder I want a brother to walk with me now through the woods, to stare with me into death's eyes, those glassy, winking flames. So familiar, so full of pity, I could believe. Our parents never abandoned us. I would say this is my most personal book. I see it as a family album. I see it as a photo album from my mind, in a way. And I get to preserve some truth of my family, even when everyone else is gone or they choose not to remember some of these stories.
I consider Paisley not only a poet, but as a person who thinks through poetry. To work on any book with Paisley is to look at a bigger vision. It's looking at the project of an idea and how to get that idea out into a larger readership.
There's something about the word heritance that suggests a tendency rather than a fixed state. And an inheritance to me suggests you've already got it. A heritance suggests it's a possibility, but it's not a fixed reality yet.
I think it's a book that can only be written by this poet at this moment in our history.
As somebody who votes and cares about the state of the nation, I'm very aware of the ways in which our national politics have failed us and not failed us. And then when your parents die and you have to kind of confront their weaknesses, but also their great strengths, the question is, what do you want to fight for? Like, what do you want to carry forward?
With your gift to Copper Canyon Press, you're supporting artists like Paisley Rekdal, who are shaping the poetic and cultural future of America.
We are not put on this earth just to make money and then die. We are here to experience all of the pleasures and to think all of the things. And poetry is one of those ways of doing that. And so it matters tremendously to step up and support culture at this moment.